Her students love her.
I love her smile. Like, she's so sweet. I love her smile. I cannot get over her smile. Like, her smile just brightens my day.
Her family loves her. And I love her.
Miss you so much. Oh, you look great. Oh, how are you? God, you look amazing.
Meet Arielle HAYES. She's a wife, a mom of 4, Olivia, Raven, Rayshon Jr., aka Deuce, and Oakland. She's principal of Michael R. White Elementary School in Cleveland, Ohio, and she's a total boss mom. I met her over 5 years ago when I recruited her to be the principal here, and I was so inspired by her back then, and I know you will be so inspired by her story too. I spent the day with her at school and then went to her home in the evening.
I told you didn't have to clean.
I also got to witness Deuce losing his first tooth, and we sat down and chatted about all things motherhood, body image, marriage, babies, working mom guilt, all the things. And we also talked about how she's coping with the loss of a child because her daughter Raven passed away in her sleep 4 months ago. The conversation we had was raw and real. She's so full of strength and grace and wisdom, so I hope that you enjoy the first in this series of day in the lives of different boss moms. All right, let's get to know Arielle.
Yes. Favorite color?
Pink.
Favorite food?
Seafood, anything seafood.
Favorite TV show?
Handmaid's Tale is a good series that I'm into. I don't have a favorite show.
It's so twisted, isn't
It's
it?
so sick. So sick. I'm like, no, this cannot happen. But it could. It's sad.
Let's go back to the beginning. Where were you born and sort of what were you like as a kid?
Born here in Cleveland, Ohio. Born and raised. I would say I was like the nerdy kid. Like I loved, truthfully, loved school supplies. My brother teases me. Like I was the girl that was super excited the first day of school, had a full backpack of all these supplies and thought it was like the best thing ever. But an older sister and I have an older brother. So very much into them, and I think I was pretty nerdy, quirky, but fun. I guess that would be the best way, yeah.
There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
I would literally describe myself pretty much the same way. I was going to teacher's pet.
Yes.
What is your actual schedule like? Like what time do you wake up in the morning? If you have a morning routine, what does that look like?
So right now, because my babies haven't started back to school, I'm up at 6. I give myself time to wake up. I'm not a morning or a night person. It's just like time is important, all of it. And so I come to work, I have to be here at about 8:30. And I'm here from about 8:30 to close to 5. And I would say like I'm a person that will go pick up food. Like I know there are a lot of moms that cook every day and great for them. That's just not my thing. And it never really has ever since I became a mom, because there's so many other things going on that I think
I joke fed is best goes beyond the breastfeeding formula feeding,
yeah.
right? Like fed is best. It doesn't matter. My babies are fed.
Because a lot of people have this, and then there are nuances around being a wife. Like as a wife, you should cook and you should. I work a major job every day. Cooking is just not gonna happen. But I'll make sure y'all eat every day. We'll be fed, just like you said, and we'll be fine. And then we're trying to make sure you have showers. It's homework, because homework is a whole new world, honey. And although I work in a school, once homework became that much more real with 2 kids at the kitchen table, I was like, oh, this is time consuming, because you're trying to make sure everybody gets what they need. And then just trying to have some level of downtime. Like Instagram is my friend. I know some people think it's a waste of time, but it's something I don't have to think hard at. And sometimes you just want to have something to decompress. Some people play video games. Some people look in magazines, whatever that thing is for you. I think everybody should have something.
Yeah. What would you say to a mom who's like, I have the worst mom guilt because I'm working?
I would want them to dig a little deeper. Like, why is that? Right? Because I will say this, when I first had my first daughter, if I went away for 2 hours, it was like, oh my God, I feel so bad, I've been gone for a while. But I feel like I'm better for them when I'm not there all day, because staying at home is not easy. I don't know who told people that was a thing and like you should feel bad because you don't stay at home. Staying at home is rough. So trying to do all of the work stuff, and then there are all these extra expectations that are put on you, and then you're not supposed to want to go do other things. I feel like I don't feel bad. Like I don't feel bad, and I don't want moms to feel bad about having an actual existence, because when they go off to school and they go off to do other things, the goal is for them to go out into the world and make a difference, you're going into the world and making a difference. And that's always been my thing. Like, I want to lead, but from the perspective of helping others. How can I lighten your load? How can I make it a little bit easier for you to accomplish whatever it is you want to accomplish? So a lot of times you hear women say, you can have it all. I don't know if I actually want it all. I just knew what my actual goals were. I think the biggest thing is have goals for yourself. And even with the family, you have to constantly push for whatever those goals look like for you, because you can help your kids and help your husband and help your family, but if you don't feel fulfilled, then you're not winning.
And I really appreciated Arielle's candidness when I asked her about the challenges that she has.
Being a mom of 4, weight for women is always a thing, right? And so this idea of having a fupa, and what does your belly look like? And I have people still to say, like, are you pregnant? I'm like, I'm not pregnant. And my sister and I were talking one day. She's like, Ari, people struggle to get pregnant, right? That's a whole nother thing that we don't discuss enough, right? And so I say all that because we're always trying to fit into what we think it should look like, instead of just finding that joy and finding some level of like, this is good for me. We actually lost one of our children 4 months ago. So that has been challenging for us.
Arielle's second daughter, Raven, was diagnosed with arthrogryposis multiplex congenita, also known as AMC, during pregnancy. It occurs in about 1 in every 3,000 births.
You go in like, am I having a boy or girl? That's all you care about, right? Like, this is baby number 2. My husband really wanted a son. I was happy with another girl. I was perfectly fine. And so when we're in the ultrasound, if everything is healthy and things are moving right along, you have a technician come in, they take the pictures, and then a doctor comes in, tells you where you're going, you move on. Mm-hmm. Well, technician did her thing, and then another one came in. And I remember turning to Rayshawn like, something's not right. He's like, everything's fine. I'm like, something's not right. I could tell. So what happened was she had multiple anomalies. She had what they thought was a fused kidney or horseshoe kidney. They thought the ventricles in her brain were dilated. They were too full. And she had rocker bottom feet, which is like a thicker padding on her foot. Had it just been one of those things, because different things happened, they wouldn't have worried. But because there were markers, they knew something was going on. So we were told we could do nothing. We could get an amniocentesis to see what was going on, or we could terminate the pregnancy. I was scared. It was the scariest day of my life, because you have to make this major decision. And although I'm for women being able to choose what they want to do, because we already had a daughter that was a year old, I needed his input. And he said, just give my baby a fighting chance. Great, okay, let's go. From there, we were a high risk pregnancy. That was at 18 weeks, from 18 weeks, and she was born on her actual due date, because I had to get induced on her due date. So she was 40 weeks. It was the scariest 22 weeks of my life, because you don't know what to expect. You both are trying to figure out how you're going to navigate this new experience. And we had to go to more doctor's appointments and get more scans.
After Raven's birth on August 26th, she was life-flighted and had to get a trach and a G-tube within the first month of her life. She didn't come home from the hospital until 6 months later on Valentine's Day.
And in the midst of her being in the hospital, we found out we were pregnant with our son. Like, whoa, wait. Because we weren't planning to have any more kids. We were afraid. Once you have a child and you know it could be something genetic, and we did all the genetic testing, and it came out that it wasn't on either side of our family, which is still crazy. And then we were afraid, probably wouldn't have even tried to have any more children. And here comes Deuce. We would go back and forth, because my husband wanted her to walk, and he wanted her to be able to talk, and he believed that she would do all those things. And it got to a point where I was like, she's not gonna do those things. But what I could do for her was just love her, right? Like, I could love on her and make her smile and make her laugh. And that for me was what my job was for her, right? Make sure she looked nice, keep her hair together, you know, get her in school, do all of the things you're supposed to do, but love on her. And I didn't have these crazy expectations about what she had to do to fit in with other kids. That wasn't the goal. Like, she was my baby. She was special, and she was special for a reason. I think a lot of us are worried about what other people are gonna say. That's really what I think is the kicker to all of it, right? Like, if you have a child that's different in any way, because so many moms deal with kids that have behavior issues or they're on the spectrum for autism, or they have speech issues, or something is different with their anatomy, whatever that might be. People are always just afraid of what are other people going to say. And so we had those concerns too, but over time, my goal was always to educate people, like, well, this is what this is, and this is why she has it, and to help people understand it. So I would say find joy in it.
Raven Faith Hayes was incredibly special to everyone who knew her. She passed away 4 months ago, and understandably, it's been very hard on the entire family.
Now we here.
And well, I'll say go in Raven's room and get whatever. So these are their school supplies as we get ready for back to school.
Did you see that sign says faith?
For the faith,
Yeah. Like, you know, you're trying to clean, you're trying to do, and I realized, like, oh my God, I'm moving too quickly. And so it taught me to, like, slow down and don't be in a rush to rearrange or do anything. So that's why Rayshawn and I started, like, filling the space with things. So clearly all these things in the suitcases, that's from our trip.
A fundraiser from family and friends sent the Hayes family to Disney World this summer in Raven's memory.
We kept her glasses and her braces.
This is her alarm clock.
Yeah. And that was a part of that class I went to. Like, you don't have to move so quickly, so yeah.
But the family is still taking it day by day.
I don't want to cry all day long, right? Like, that's not going to be helpful for me or anybody that I encounter.
I'm a motivator by heart, and right now, if I want to motivate somebody that's going through something dramatic right now, just keep swimming. As long as you keep moving, you'll be all right. Just keep moving. These guys right here keep me moving 24/7. No matter even when I don't want to move, they keep me moving.
Losing a baby that I was told, like, wouldn't make it to begin with, right? That it was traumatic. But on the flip side, I'm grateful because I was told she may not live for any of the experiences that I shared with her. So I try to keep that in perspective too. Like, no, I didn't want it to happen, but thank God for the 6.5 years that I got with her, because that wasn't expected. Because Raven taught me so much about so many things. And I would say after her death, my patience became so much smaller. Like, I couldn't tolerate certain things because I'm like, you have breath in your body. You get to walk, talk, do whatever you want to do, right? Like, if you don't like your situation, figure out another way. You have breath in your body. Do something with it, right? Because you don't want to not have joy or there's no reason not to.
Was there anything I didn't ask you about that you want shared with the world, or that you would want other moms to know?
Be good to yourself. I feel like I've said it, but I think that is the most important thing ever. I talked about it earlier. When I had to do Raven's obituary, which that's a crazy experience, but going through pictures the last few weeks before she passed, I didn't have pictures of her. To me, like, I didn't have enough pictures of her. And so what I had pictures of, I had lost weight last year. I lost like 40 pounds. I was feeling really great about it. And in winter, I hibernate. And so I was like, oh my God, I gained like 5 pounds. I gotta get this weight off. And so there were pictures of like me on scales or keto sticks. And there's nothing wrong with that, but I wasn't being kind to myself. And so after her pass, and what I mean by that, I had become obsessive with this idea of weight loss. And you can get to a point where you feel good about people complimenting you on that. And it's like, oh my God, if you gain back, then what happens? Well, again, perception, right? And so after she passed, I started to realize, like, at any size you are, you need to be kind to yourself, right? Be patient with yourself, be kind to yourself. And that has taken me literally since she passed, these last 4 months of really saying that to myself, but starting to believe it, right? You can say it and still not believe it. And so I would say whatever that thing is, I think every woman has that one thing that they don't like. My thing is my stomach. Like, it drives me crazy. But at the same time, I have learned to start like rubbing on my own stomach and loving on myself and looking in the mirror, because this vessel helps me function every day, but it got 4 dope kids on this earth. And I wouldn't trade that.
A big last one. If you were to be like, this is the legacy I leave here on earth, like this is what the students that walk through the door of this school will remember me by, my children, my grandbabies. Like,
Because I want to be a dope grandmother, just for the record, I do. What do I want to leave? I want them to be able to say how I treated them, and I treated them well. And I was gentle with them, and kind, and thoughtful. That's what I want to be remembered for. Because I think that matters more than anything else. Like, how did I make you feel when I was around you? Did you feel loved? Did I make sure that if I did something wrong, did I apologize for it? Those are the things that are most important to me in my relationships with people.
I love that.
Yeah.
Thank you, Arielle, for sharing your day and your story with me. As I drove home that night, there was the most beautiful sky. I'd like to think it was painted by Raven. Just reminded me to be grateful for life. And as Arielle said, just be grateful for breath. And I'm also very grateful that I get to share this story with you. Thanks for watching, and I hope that you subscribe for more. Bye, loves.